In this topic, we'll learn about NIC teaming for fault tolerance and load balancing on Windows Server 2012. Introduction. Windows Server 2012 has a number of great new features. One of the most welcome new features is the ability to create NIC teams. A NIC team is a collection of network interfaces (NICs) that work together as one. There are many benefits to building a NIC team. The main benefit is bandwidth aggregation. NIC teaming allows the bandwidth of every NIC and the team to be combined, thereby delivering more bandwidth than any single NIC and the team will be able to handle by itself. Another noteworthy benefit to NIC teaming is redundancy. NIC teaming protects the server against NIC failures. If a NIC within a NIC team fails, then the team is able to continue functioning in spite of the failure but at a reduced capacity. Technically speaking, NIC teaming is not an entirely new feature. Previous versions of Windows Server supported NIC teaming but only with some very significant restrictions. The main restriction was that the NIC team had to be implemented at the hardware level, not the software level. This meant that you had to purchase server hardware and NICs that natively supported NIC teaming. Furthermore, the NICs had to be provided by the same vendor. Needless to say, this approach to NIC teaming was expensive to say the least. These limitations are gone in Windows Server 2012. Now NIC teaming can be implemented at the software level, so there is no need to purchase specialized server hardware. Furthermore, the NIC team does not need to be vendor consistent. You can create a NIC team consisting of NICs from multiple vendors. Another benefit is that a NIC team can be huge. You can combine up to 32 physical NICs into a NIC team. Imagine for a moment that you built a team of 32 10 gigabyte NICs that will be the functional equivalent to having a 320 gigabyte connection minus overheat. NIC team uses. Right about now you might be wondering under what circumstances you can use a NIC team. Generally speaking, a NIC team can be used in any situation that a physical NIC will be used in. NIC team can handle normal server level traffic, but they can also be used by virtual machines. Having said that, there are a few exceptions. NIC teaming does not work with the following. First one, SRIOV, Remote Direct Memory Access, RDMA, TCP chimney. Microsoft doesn't really explain why TCP chimney is not supported, at least not that I have found, but they do indicate that the reason SRIOV and RDMA are not supported is because these technologies and traffic directly to the network adapter and completely bypass the networking stack, which means that SRIOV and RDMA are unable to detect the NIC team. Now, building a NIC team. Creating a NIC team is an easy process. To do so, open the server manager and click on local server. Next, look at the NIC teaming option in the properties section and then check to see if NIC teaming is enabled or disabled. Assuming that NIC teaming is disabled, click on the disable link and the NIC teaming window will open. NIC teams are created through the NIC teaming console. Now go to the console's team section and click on the task drop down. Select the new team option. When you do, you will see the NIC teaming dialog box. Use the NIC teaming dialog box to create the NIC team. The dialog box is pretty simple. You can create a NIC team by entering a name for the team and then picking the network adapters that are included in the team. Before you create the NIC team, it is a good idea to define some additional properties. While this certainly is not a requirement, doing so gives you more control over the team's functionality. You will notice that there is an additional properties. If you click this drop down, you will be presented with some additional options. There are some additional properties that you can configure. First one, teaming mode. The first option on the list is the teaming mode. You can choose from 3 different teaming modes. The default option is switch independent. As the name implies, switch independent mode lets you build a NIC team without having to worry about your network switches. The NICs that make up the team can even be connected to multiple network switches. The next option is called static teaming. Static teaming is a switch dependent mode. That mode requires you to configure both the computer and the network switch so as to identify the links that make up the team. The third teaming mode is also switch dependent. It is called LACP and is based on link aggregation. The advantage to using this type of NIC teaming is that you can dynamically reconfigure the NIC team by adding or removing NICs as your needs dictate. The next option on the list is load balancing mode. Load balancing mode lets you choose between 2 options: address hash or Hyper-V port. The address hash option is usually the best choice because it allows traffic to be load balanced across all of the NICs in the team. The Hyper-V port option balances traffic on a per virtual machine basis. This type of load balancing assigns each virtual machine's traffic to a specific NIC. The problem with this approach is that virtual machines are unable to take advantage of distributing traffic across multiple NICs. The last option is standby adapter. As the name suggests, the standby adapter option lets you designate NIC as a standby spare. That way, if a NIC in the team were to fail, then a spare is on hand to take over. It is worth nothing, however, that you can only designate one NIC as a standby adapter. Windows does not support having multiple spare adapters. Type name NIC teaming and click on OK. NIC teaming 1.